Welcome to Bemovation. My name is Noluthando Chabalala, also known as the Advocate of Self-Love. This is the channel, the podcast, the platform where beauty meets motivation. So tell your friend, tell your mom, tell your sister, even tell your ex to tune and subscribe into this platform, this channel, because they can become a better person. Today's episode is empowering and enlightening because my guest is exactly that. She's a trailblazer. Her name is Nombasa Mawela, and I cannot wait for you guys to meet her and hear from her. So let me just give you a bit of background. She is the epitome of dynamite, comes in small packages. Her go-getter spirit dates back from her younger years as a student who juggled her studies while freelancing in gold mines. She pursued her RICS-accredited MSc in real estate at the University of Pretoria, and this sparked her passion for real estate and positioned her as a pioneer in the real estate space. In 2022, she launched and became the licensee holder for SIF Dubai. She was also listed among the top women in Dubai, a publication that celebrates women. Making her strides in different fields across the city, academically, Nombasa holds a BSc in quantity surveying from the University of Pretoria, South Africa, a land and property development management honors from the University of the Free State in South Africa, an MBA from Murdoch University in Dubai, and is currently pursuing her DBA at the Swiss Business School in Dubai. Listen, Nombasa.
Hi, Thando.
Thank you so much for being here.
Listening to you introducing me, I could not believe, is that me? Thank you so much. Thank you.
That is you. And how does it feel to have accomplished, before I actually get into everything, because I'm so excited, for chatting with you, unpacking your journey. How would you describe Nombasa? Because I went, the professional route, but who would you say is Nombasa?
So Nombasa is your girl next door, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up with the likes of you, for instance.
Yeah.
You saw me as that regular girl who had to put in a lot of work to get to where she is. She was that rural girl from the Eastern Cape that had a lot of dreams and chased her dreams. And yeah, she's a mom, she's a wife, those are the things, the small things that matter behind the scenes of all the success, So that is what I'm about. I'm about, family. I'm about my little friends. I'm about my children. And yeah, work comes in as secondary, as something I love and passion.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love the fact that you mentioned that you're a girl that had to put in a lot of work. The topic for this season is channeling your inner fire to pursue your success. And it's very clear you've got that fire. Otherwise, you wouldn't have accomplished all these things that we've mentioned. What do you attribute that thing, Nombasa, that you have that has made you decide that regardless of either where I come from, my background, I'm going to make a name for myself? Where do you think that comes from?
Thando, I've always been a hungry girl, if I can put it like that.
Yeah.
But I take my time. So in 2017, I moved to Dubai. Obviously, when I moved there, I was a housewife. I had to take my time to learn the city, but I always knew that my passion was in real estate because that is what I was doing when I left South Africa. But I had to figure out how do I penetrate that in the city. So I took my time. I built the networks that I need to build. I studied it well, and I had to figure out what works. But at the same time, while figuring out what works, for me, home will always be home. So I always needed to bring it close to South Africa somehow, which is why when the time came, SIF made sense because it is a South African-born real estate company, which is 61 years old in South Africa, by the way. And, to take the first branch outside of Africa into the Middle East was a dream come true because I grew up seeing SIF. So I guess the fire has always been there. I went back to that little girl who would walk the streets of South Africa and I would see boards from SIF. I didn't even know what it was, but it made sense when the time came.
Where do you find the courage to say, you know what, I'm going to leave the country and relocate elsewhere? And then when you're there, decide that I will still make something of myself. And I'm asking this in line, especially to those that say South Africans don't travel, South Africans don't want to go out of their country. You see, we do it.
Yeah.
But where does the courage or where does the driving force come from, right? For you to say, I'm packing up, I'm leaving, and I'm going to start a new life elsewhere.
So, for me, as I mentioned during the intro, one of the most important things to me is my children.
Yes.
Right? So there came a time where the decision came where, do we move to Dubai?
Yes.
And for me, the decision was easy based on them because, one of the reasons was, okay, this will be a better life for my kids. What do I want for my children? Not that South Africa is not a better life.
Yes.
But, when you envision to say, I want better for my kids than what I had, why not expose them? Because Dubai gives you exposure. You are literally 80% of the community is experts. So your kids are exposed in class to like 20 nationalities at once. So I was like, I want to give my kids exposure. I want to give them that platform that I never had, and if I've got an opportunity and the means to, why not do it?
I love that.
Yeah.
Why not do it? Exposure, exposure, exposure.
Yeah.
So I would like you to please share the process of you being in Dubai and then pursuing still because you were already passionate and involved in the property space. What was the formula? Was there a formula that you followed? Because you did mention that you built a network before you did anything, you explored and stuff. Could you share what process, what formula you actually, undertook?
To get where,
Exactly.
yeah. So the process basically, when I got there, obviously, as I said, I did my MBA when I first got there. I actually started it a few months after moving. And part of me doing that was, an MBA exposes you to powerful people, as you know, the execs of the world, and it's an international MBA. So for me, it was like, okay, how do I first make my first entry? Let me do an MBA where I meet the top people that I need to meet and meet the people in the spaces that I envision myself being a part of. And my MBA gave me exactly that. I'm friends with one of most of the powerful execs in Dubai through that program. And then after that, obviously, I studied the city. I worked actually for brokerages in Dubai, for developers in Dubai, before I leaped into starting my own thing. And I must say, actually, it was due to COVID that I decided that, okay, now it's time. Because again, my mother had to kick in. I had to homeschool kids. So no company was going to understand that, look, I can't come to work. I've got small children. I have to homeschool now. And that's when I was like, look, actually, I'm doing this. I've got the clients already. They're my clients. Why don't I just get out of this and do it myself while I get to homeschool my children and be present in this difficult time? As you know, COVID was a difficult time. Yeah.
I get that. Strategic. This was so strategic of you. And I think this is something that we can take away. Be strategic in your development. Don't just develop yourself for the sake of developing yourself, which is still good because it just gives you some basic leverage. But what I'm getting is that you were strategic. You said, I'll do the MBA because I want to meet a network of powerful and influential people. Hint, hint, wink, wink.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Nombasa, you then decide, I am going to bring in a property iconic household name like CF, right? And one of the things that I'm always trying to teach my audience is to act on their ideas, take their action. And sometimes, even myself included, one is not sure if you are daydreaming, you have an idea, or this is even God telling you to do something. What happened for you to actually wake up that morning and think, I'm actually going to acquire a license for CF and bring it to Dubai? What was happening?
So again, as you said, strategy. So obviously, having been in the real estate industry in Dubai, I studied it well. I knew that the top markets in Dubai are the Russian market, the Chinese market, the British market, the Indian, Pakistan market, right? And I said, you know what? I don't want to play in a space where everyone in real estate plays. What can I bring that is different? My USP, my unique selling point. What is it? And then that's when the idea, luckily I ended up somewhere and I ended up with the SEAF license. And it made sense when the opportunity came that actually, what can I bring that is different? All of them can't break into the African market. SEAF is there, it's trusted, it's 61 years old, it's in outside of South Africa, it's in Zimbabwe, it's in Zambia, it's in Mauritius for many years, for over 20 years. You know, I said, I don't want to target the Russian market. Let me get a brand that the African market understands and trusts.
Yes.
Right? So it made sense for me because I said, I'm not going to play where everyone plays.
Yeah.
Let me play in my own field. And I mean, we've brought Africa to Dubai as SEAF now because every time we come here, you know, I was just here on a roadshow. And every time we come here on our roadshows, we don't have to first start off from the beginning where we're selling trust. Like, do you trust us? Do you know us? Everyone knows SEAF, you know. They look at it as a brand that they relate to. They've seen it for years. And so we don't start from the beginning. We start from the transaction point.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you so much.
I'm listening to you. I'm listening to her, and she lives and breathes. You can just tell that this is your passion. It's your forte. It's your expertise. You name it. Everything.
I really
it's
do.
absolutely inspiring.
Thank you.
So before I get into the business of your business, how difficult has it been to actually find your feet, cement yourself in foreign lands as a Black woman, as an African? Because we know the stereotypes or the limiting beliefs that exist around being Black, being African are there. How did you break through?
You know, Noluthando, it's funny that you say that. Actually, being a woman, first of all, in the Middle East, you know, is a barrier of its own. Now, you are entering a field that is male dominated. I mean, leaders and owners of brokerages in Dubai, most of them, like more than 90%, are owned by men. Now, you are entering a space as a woman, first of all, from Africa, second of all, in the Middle East. And you are saying, I'm going to hold the fort and I want to do this against the men, you know? So it takes a lot of proving yourself, if I can put it like that. It takes a lot of proving yourself. But I always believed that the work that we do will speak for itself. And over time, we are at a point where developers approach us to partner with us. We don't approach them because the work has spoken for itself. So I decided that, look, I'm not going to let this be a hindrance for me where I'm a woman and I feel like I'm at the back. I'm going to work and I'm going to let my work prove itself. And it's done exactly that.
It's done exactly that. I'm going to let my work prove. You know, do the talking for me.
Yes.
Fears are very real, you know, and even the bravest, the most successful people will tell you that there are times where I wake up very fearful. There are times where I wake up feeling, you know, even having some sort of imposter syndrome. Have you experienced that, and how have you tackled it?
I mean, of course, first of all, I'll go back to bringing the brand SEAF.
Yes.
You know, when we started, my team will tell you, especially the ones that held me, like, you know, I've got two that have been with me from the beginning in the whole team. They know that, like, I'd wake up one day and I would say, what have I done, guys? It took 6 months to get everything running. First of all, we had to register the trademark in Dubai to get the government to approve before we started. We had to get everything on board to get the system of SEAF to talk to UAE. It was a lot. It was a lot. And in the middle of it, I said, I think I took in more than what I can chew. You know, it was scary. It was. At first, when you start, you're excited. It's an opportunity. But in the middle of it, you actually start to realize that,
this is a lot.
This is a lot. And do I realize what I'm doing? Like, and for the SEAF brand as well, it was a big deal. It was their first branch outside of Africa in 60 years then. So for them, it was like, what are we doing? And really, is she capable? Now you've got people looking at you wondering, is this young girl capable of actually taking this brand out there and making it work? So it was one of the scariest moments. But you know what? Over the years, I learned that it takes a nation. So for me, I had to let go of a lot of, and being the person that I am, I'm always like, I can do this myself. You know, I try to juggle things and do everything myself. But the journey taught me that I actually need other people to help. I can't do it alone.
Yes.
So bringing the brand safe, honestly, was not a one-man show. It was me allowing and trusting other people to say, I trust you to help me do this if we have the vision together. You know?
You're doing it with
And
the team.
we are.
What does it take to build that kind of a team, right? Because people sometimes think, oh, it's just about, you know, having people managing them, paying them well so they can stay. But anyone who's been, you know, in a position of either managing or headlining or spearheading a department, it's more than that. But for you, it's in foreign lands, you know. What does it take to ensure that you are steering the ship in the right direction?
So one of the values of the SIF group actually is family.
Yes.
Right? We've got 7 values, but one of the most important values is family. So along the way, we've made our mistakes. We've had team members come and go. You know, it's just been a journey. But the team that I currently have is that we are so tight-knit with different personalities, all right? Different people from different backgrounds. I mean, we've got Russian team members, we've got Nigerian team members, we've got team members from as far as Maftown in South Africa.
Nice.
You know, we've got Osmomundia from Bushbuck Ridge in South Africa, you know. So everybody is from different backgrounds. But one thing that we've gotten right is the fact that we've gotten a tight-knit team that understands the value of family. So every time we even recruit, we are so particular about who joins our team because we need somebody who will be a fit. We don't need a rotten apple that will ruin the spirit of family. So yeah, it took a lot to understand how important it is to get team members that understand that more than anything, we are family. We are all that we have in Dubai because it's a foreign land for all of us. Yeah,
we are all that we have.
Exactly.
Nombasa, I think that we definitely have to take the opportunity to educate our audience, to educate those that are even looking for, you know, investment opportunities that they may not be aware of. What do we not know as South Africans about real estate in Dubai? Or what are the myths that exist? Because, you know, most people, when we think about investment, we obviously think, yes, property, but locally, to policies, shares, and so forth. But here you are. You have to give us the entire gist of...
I love this question.
Yes.
I love
what
this
do
question.
we not know that we should know? And what must we start doing as of after this interview?
Yes. Okay. I love this question, Thando. I love it. So, of course, as I say to you, we've been doing roadshows around South Africa. And what we've learned is that South Africans actually, you know, they can afford it, but they don't know. Right? Most of them are under the conclusion that you need to be a millionaire to invest in Dubai. That's not true, you know.
Please tell them right into the camera.
That is not true. As a middle class earning South African, you can actually start your investment in Dubai, you know. Starting prices, you're looking at like 3.5 million rands. But when I say 3.5 million rands, I don't mean you need 3.5 million rands cash, right? So our developers have got flexible payment plans for you up to 3 years during construction, right? So with as little as 1% of that 3.5, you step into the investment space in Dubai. You secure your unit at that price, right? And then what they do, depending on the developer that you fall for, they will break down the first 50% of the property, so which is about 1.5, 1.8. They break it down over the 3 years. So imagine having to pay little by little by little during the construction phase, which is 3 years, and you pay 50%. Then the next 50% is usually due after construction, which is after handover. Again, depending on which developer that you go for. Others will want the 50% at handover with the key, but that 50% you can mortgage, right? So at completion, you're allowed to mortgage what is left of your investment. And as a non-resident of Dubai, you qualify for up to 65% of that as mortgage. As a resident, you qualify up to 80%, right? So, and then the other developers, what they do, they have a post-handover plan for 3 years. So imagine that you have a tenant in, but you've got 3 years to carry on paying for your property while you have it, right? So it's not that when I say 3.6, 3.8 is the starting, that is what you need now. But that is just the complete value of the property.
It makes perfect sense.
Exactly.
And the thing is, even though for someone at home, you may not be in a position to actually embark on such an investment, but it is something to actually have foresight-wise, because investments never go anywhere. And we all know, we all can see Dubai is not going anywhere.
Exactly.
It's only getting bigger, better and stronger. And to then be able to invest by having a property in a place like that, to be honest, I don't know. I'm not in the property space. I know a bit about property, but I don't think you could go wrong.
So just to give you a background, Thando, Dubai, there's no place in the world that compares to it. You can Google this.
Yes.
We've got the highest capital appreciation when it comes to property investment. Not Cape Town, not London, not New York. We've overtaken London and New York.
Yes.
They used to be the top dogs, right? Dubai is that top dog right now. And when I talk about capital appreciation, I've seen projects, like I had a client who bought a villa from me 2 years ago. They bought it for 1.3 million dirhams, right? So dirhams in rands is times 5.
Yes.
Right?
Okay.
And we sold it at handover for 2.9. That is over 100% capital appreciation, where you just put in and started. And he had not paid the full amount. He paid the 50% during construction, as I said. So he had not paid the 1.3. He had only paid 650. But he walked out with 2.9 million dirhams at the end. He made 100%. I gave him back his capital.
Initial, yes.
And then I said, give me the profit. Let me reinvest this. And that is how we've been making he's sitting at home in South Africa. The money makes itself. At handover, I give him back his profits. I keep reinvesting his money. So that is the secret to property investment in Dubai.
And creating wealth.
Exactly.
And creating wealth.
Exactly.
So what you're saying, if I'm understanding you correctly, not only as South Africans should we be interested in visiting Dubai, we might as well invest there.
Exactly.
Because if you are going to be because everyone, I think that I personally haven't been there yet. Okay, I said yet.
We need to change that. We need to change that.
But everyone who's visited Dubai is so in love with the place. And they say they would not mind going back every year, every 2 years. And if that is the plan, might as well have your own property, you know, with certain measures that will obviously be put in place for it to be available when you are around.
Exactly. So the Airbnb space is a big space in Dubai, big space. And I'm talking 12% ROI. So again, the ROIs in Dubai, we're looking at from 7% to 12%, depending on what you do. Some people fall for, look, I just want security, I want my money. And the reason there is security is because rentals in Dubai are 1 year upfront. So we don't have this problem of chasing somebody to say, where's my rental every month? No. 1 year upfront rental, you forget about your tenant, you'll see them next year when it's time to renew. So some people say, I want that security, I don't want the stress. But some people do dabble in the Airbnb space, which can give you higher returns. But obviously the security is not there because you know how Airbnb is. The seasons, it's seasonal.
Yes.
But you will make your money. Dubai is Dubai. Who doesn't go to Dubai?
Yes.
You know what I mean? I mean, and some of the advantages that come with investing in Dubai, you get your residency if you invest in Dubai. And residency is not just for you. It's for you, your spouse if you are married, and your immediate children. So everybody gets residency from that investment. And outside of that, Dubai is tax-free, right? We don't pay tax at all. So your rental income is 0 tax. You get it as it is. That's like, you don't have to think of rates. Everyone always asks me, what are the rates and levies? I'm like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, we don't relate to that. We don't have that. Your rental income is exactly that. Your rental income, you get it as it is. And as a resident, you can open a bank account in Dubai. So all your income goes to your bank account in Dubai. So, it's
just making sense.
exactly,
it makes business sense.
Exactly.
So if you are there at home and you really have, excess surplus of money sitting there, I really think this is the route to take, because I think we've mentioned all the reasons, right? In terms of protection of one's investment, because we know that, yes, property tends to be one of the most low risk, investment strategies, but things do go wrong sometimes, earthquakes, all those things. What are the measures, or what are, the fundamentals put in place to protect one's investment? Because I'm not there, right? So how can I be protected?
Like we saw with the floods, I'm sure you all saw the floods that we had last year in Dubai. They were bad.
Yeah.
People's properties were destroyed, but all the developers in Dubai came into play. They fixed everybody's property at zero cost.
What?
And it was fixed in less than a week.
Are you joking?
I'm telling you. Everything.
Hey, some countries are serious about life.
No, because the government is very proactive. It's that's the thing. And the property industry in Dubai is very much regulated by the government. It's not an independent body. So everything that you do regarding property is very much regulated by the government of Dubai. From when you buy your property, you don't pay directly to the developer. You pay into an account called the escrow account. The government keeps that until the developer has handed over your property. And what does that do? It protects the clients that are buying properties. If a developer says, look, I can't finish this development, I don't have the money.
Which happens so often.
So often, exactly. We've heard of those horror stories. But in Dubai, they've put in a measure to say no developer will get access to their money until they hand over the last key of their project. So you pay into an escrow. If it goes wrong, you just go back. The government of Dubai gives you back your money.
That is incredible. That is really nice to know and learn, and to have this kind of information, because as people, especially people that are followers of this podcast, followers of my content, it's all about elevation. It's all about empowerment.
Yeah.
So in as much as we hear those stories about in Dubai, people do this, you guys know the stuff that you love, all that gossip. But here's the positive side. Here is something that is very serious that I think wherever you are, whether presently, whether in the future, really start exploring how you can invest in Dubai, how you can invest your money, and how you can really build generational wealth. Nombasa is here, and she is one of the best, if not the best, in that space as a South African, who will ensure that, your investment, your interests are taken care of, and she'll keep on ensuring, like she said, that I got my client 100% back of their initial capital, and now we are just reinvesting and just making more money.
Exactly.
Do I have it right?
You have it right, Thando. You have it right. So that's another thing of having a trusted brand. Most people make the mistake when they invest. When you hear horror stories of people that have invested in Dubai and things went wrong, they don't use a trusted brand. Don't take shortcuts when it comes to your investment. Use a trusted brand. We charge nothing. I won't charge you. If you invest with me today, you don't pay me commission, you pay me nothing.
Yes.
For me to guide you, to walk through with you, to take you through every single step. I'll give off a month of my time to guide you all the way, and I'll charge you zero.
You got that. You heard that from the lady herself.
Yes, we charge zero.
We charge zero.
Exactly.
What are the things, just, from a fun fact point of view, what are the things that exist in South Africa that you wish existed in Dubai, and vice versa?
Yo, that's a difficult one.
I know, I just put you on the spot.
That's a difficult one, Yazi. One thing I miss about South Africa when I come home, it's just being home and ngikhono khuluma. Like I can just, In Dubai, it's English, it's small things like that. But honestly speaking, there's everything. There's not a part of home is there in Dubai. Obviously, you'll miss your people and, people that you grew up with, people that you relate to more. But you do build, your new community there. And there's everything there. Honestly speaking, it's fun. There's good food. There's good vibes. There's nothing.
And there's heat
There's
as
heat.
well.
The heat is bad. The heat is bad, can get bad actually certain months of the year. So you're looking at from end of May until like September, the heat gets bad. But the rest of the time, we've got beautiful weathers. We've got beautiful beaches. We've got, beautiful people. You meet everybody from all walks of life. I mean, if you go to a brunch in Dubai, I promise you come back, you've met 20 nationalities, people from everywhere. You don't even, but it gives you the network again, as I said, that you need.
You're doing such an amazing, I hope people in Dubai, like, I don't know who, I will watch this episode because you are even saying, as you're speaking, I'm just like, I'm imagining everything,
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful city. I mean, I've been there for over 8 years now. When I left South Africa, I said, let me do a 3-year trial. 8 years plus into it now. And there's no turning back, honestly speaking. It's my second home.
Yeah.
It's my second home.
So you're a mom and you do so much. I mean, I know that even before we had this interview, you were literally here and then you had to go back because you were doing the road shows, right? Before we actually get into the motherhood space, please can you just give us more information on the road shows, what it entails, and if there will be any more, etc.
So what we do with the road shows, we've realized that, look, our people have got the funds, but they just don't understand. So we have said, look, instead of you coming to us in Dubai, we'll come to you, So we set up one-on-one sessions where people can come in, ask us all the questions. We share all the information on how you can make your investment. We actually travel with our developers. So they are there on the spot.
Yes.
If you want to do it on the spot, they are there to say, okay, we're here. You want your 1% after we present. We've had so many people actually during this past roadshow who made their and took the leap, and we say to them, welcome to making a smart decision. So a roadshow is just general one-on-one consultations with our clients where we are saying, we are here to share the info that you need, and we do it for free. It's a free consultation.
And it's so much value because, I mean, if you're already traveling with the developers, there's no question that will be asked that will not have an answer. And I trust that they were successful, right?
Very.
Are we doing some more?
We will. We see, actually, even now, past our roadshow, some people couldn't make it. So we do have Zoom sessions as well.
Yes, okay.
So you are able to schedule a Zoom session with myself or anybody on my team, and we give you the information. So we've had people that said, look, I live in Johannesburg, but I wasn't there when you came. I live in Cape Town, because we did Johannesburg, we did Durban, we did Cape Town, that have said, I wasn't there, but I'm interested to know more. And we've said, look, let's hop on a Zoom. Let's do this. So we are always available.
So no time, no space will stop you from getting the information that you need in you starting your investment in Dubai. It's a wealth creation, guys. We are not going out of this earth the same way we came in, right?
Please. And we need to do things different from the previous generations, guys.
100%.
We're empowered. This information is out there, and why like most people, when you come here, people are still like, oh, I'm building my property in 4 ways, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? But we are saying, think bigger. There's so much more that you can do. The world out there, people are making money.
Think bigger.
Think bigger. People are making money.
I love that. I love that. And I believe it. I love it and I believe it. So you're a mom, you're a wife. You're a businesswoman. You are a philanthropist. You are pouring yourself out. But we all know, I think we have all come to learn that if you are not centered and balanced in all the things that you do, it's easy to just fall into a dark pit. Nombasa, how do you keep yourself centered and how do you keep yourself sane? Because as much as, in the pursuit for greatness, in the pursuit for success, you go. And then you realize much later that, wow, my mental health is actually suffering. How do you keep yourself in check?
So I'm one of those people that believe that therapy should not be a reaction. I don't have to wait for something to go wrong for
I like
me
that.
to go to therapy. Therapy is a space that you should take advantage of. It helps if you do it, actually. So I regularly go to my therapist for nothing. Not that I'm in a bad space,
Yes.
but I'm like, I need to recenter. Let's talk. You know, maybe I'm carrying a load too heavy. Just talk to me, take me through what can we do to readjust or balance these chakras, if I can put it like that. So I'm a regular person that goes to therapy a lot. I believe in it. I'm not okay, my world is breaking up type of person. Now I need therapy. No, my world is happy. Let me go to therapy and actually talk about it to say, my world is happy. Do you think there's something that or it's an overload of some sort that I should? So I regularly go there and taking time off. People that work hard always feel like if they take time off and switch off, like I just told you, I did 3 days in the Kruger with zero network. I had to switch off because I had this long roadshow where it was long hours. And I said, you know what, for the next 3 days, I'm going to switch off. I'll have zero network. I don't want to talk to anybody. I'm going to spend time with my children. And we went off, we spent time in the bush, and I was disconnected from the whole world for a good 3 days. And when I came back, I'm rejuvenated and I'm ready for the world again. So taking time off is very, very important.
I get that. It makes perfect sense. Yes. I'm not sure about 3 days with no network. I might just, get withdrawal symptoms.
You
but
do.
It's needed.
You do when you start. You do when you start. But it's something that you teach yourself that it's important. And I always say you cannot pour from an empty cup. So you have to be intentional about filling your cup so you can pour out.
You can pour out.
Exactly.
100% agree. The world that we live in now, whether you're a doctor, whether you are, even like a world-renowned surgeon, politician, anything you can think of, social media is a part of our lives. But we all know it comes with, the good and the bad.
Exactly.
And one of the questions I really like to ask my guests is, how do you protect yourself from, one, the energy, and two, I think now there's a whole trend of calling them monitoring spirits, right? Because there are times where you just realize that, yes, there are people looking and you wonder, are they looking at what I'm doing, whether it's my life or what I'm doing for the right reasons or for something else? How do you protect yourself from, the pressure that comes with that energy that comes from social media? Because one way or the other, your journey is there, it's documented, it's quite visible. How do you protect yourself?
So for me, I think it's very important to understand why you started the social media page. I didn't have Instagram until this real estate journey.
Yeah.
I was completely off social media. I had WhatsApp, and WhatsApp, as you know, is for your direct people. Came this real estate journey, and the first thing that I had to learn was, okay, you need Instagram because the world out there doesn't know you on WhatsApp. You have to put yourself out there. You have to sell what you're selling out there for people to realize what you're doing.
Yes.
So realize why you have your social media page. So my social media page, if you visit it, all you see is sif, houses. I separate my person, and intentionally so. I hardly, maybe on my stories, you'll catch a glimpse because some people, when I started say, we want to see that you're a real person. We don't want to see a machine who's always about houses, So once in a while, but I'm very careful about it, I'll throw in, my day as a mother, my day on a family holiday, but very minimum.
Sadly,
that's just to to say that I am a real person. I actually live in the real world, but I'm off limits on a lot of things. My page is about investing, buying property, and so forth. You won't see my kids on my page, for example.
Yes.
Maybe you'll see them on my highlights here and there because that's the part where I introduce the reality side of things. But even there on the highlights, minimum and subtle.
Privacy is the new luxury.
Yes, but as I say, it's privacy, but you reveal.
Yes.
Certain
parts of you that you feel
comfortable revealing to people. Certain parts of you, there's no need for other people to know.
Yes.
But again, it's up to you what you choose to reveal. But where I am, I'm very about, I'll reveal what I feel like. And most people will feel, oh my gosh, she posts a lot. But if you look at it, I don't. There's so much that happens in my life on a day-to-day that never makes it to the net.
Makes perfect sense. I completely get it.
Yeah.
How do you, on a very dark, bad days, because they are there for everyone, where do you find, how can I put it? Where do you find the refreshment to go on? Because there are those times that as a person, you actually feel like, whether it's confusion, chaos, exhaustion, or whatever the case may be, where do you draw the strength to keep going?
So I'm a very spiritual person.
Yes.
So I have a deep relationship with my God. So with everything that I do, it's centered around prayer, right? I have my moments. I'm not a person who's obviously, as I said, who'll be out there on social media, be like, oh, Jesus, whatever.
Yes.
But I do have a very deep and serious relationship with my God. And I'm a very I pray a lot. I pray a lot. I my day doesn't go about without involving prayer, so that roots me a lot and clears things a lot. And again, goes back to the therapy side of things. That clears, it's very important to balance your 7 chakras.
Yes.
Where, when you feel like you're sinking, you go back and you're like, okay, so your yogas, attending meditation, things like that. Those are things that I partake in to always make sure that I'm cleared and I'm balanced.
I love that.
Yeah.
It makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Balance, being clear, and truly just taking care of yourself.
Yeah.
Beaumovation is a mix of beauty and motivation.
Love it.
And the beauty part is not even the makeup, the hair, that is just,
It follows. It follows.
Be about the beauty that is inside.
Yeah.
Actually then shines through. As we've been chatting, I am just really going down memory lane. And I think the very last time I saw you was the last day in July, or one of the first pieces, right? We were young girls, as Nombasa mentioned then, we were young girls, just enjoying, having a good time. When you look back at the young girl that you were, and you look at the present day Nombasa, did you think it was all going to be like this? Everything that you have been, everything that you have become, everything that you have managed to achieve, did you ever think it would be like this?
To be fair, yes. I've always prided myself as a very goal-orientated girl.
Yes.
Like, even then, I love my fun. I have my fun. I live life. Like, I'm one of those people that, my friends will say that Sasa, there's never a dull moment with this. I live my life. I love living, But at the same time, I'm very focused. I've always been. I'm a person who sets out goals and I'm clear on what I want to achieve. And once I set my mind on something, it is what it is. I'll do anything. I'll work my ass off, off to achieve that.
Yeah.
So even then, I had my fun, but I was still, focused on my studies, focused on other areas of my life that I'm hoping to achieve. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I know so many people, once the episode drops and over time, looking at you, listening to you, would love to be led by someone like you. So if someone out there is like, how do I become part of what Nombasa is doing? What can they do? Where can they start? How can they even reach you?
So if you follow our pages on social media, we are Sif Dubai. My personal page is Nombasa _Dubai _real _estate. So just search Nombasa Dubai Real Estate because that is what I'm about. And as I said, I'm an energy person. So if your energy somehow works with mine, you might, as I mentioned, I've got a girl who joined my team in September. She's from Bushbuck Ridge. I mentored her for 3 years before I said to her, it's time to move to Dubai. And she couldn't believe it. She was like, really? I said, yeah, I feel like it's time. And she's gotten there and she's done amazing things, you know. So it's I'm an energy person. If your energy works with mine and I feel like you'll bring the energy I need into my team, then it's possible. But I'm very reachable. I respond to my inboxes on Instagram. I'm not one of those people that your inbox will sit there. No, I'm very responsive.
I love that. And she is, because even when I reached out to her through another friend / associates, you know, it was all systems go. And by energy, Nombasa doesn't mean just smiles and being cute. By energy, she means working hard and being goal oriented.
Yes.
Nombasa, it's been such an amazing conversation.
Thank you, Thando, for having me.
Thank you for making the time, which you don't have. You know, you came and you unpacked a lot, not only from a perspective of your personal characteristics and everything that you do, but also you've empowered us to really know and understand that it is possible to actually grow and build your wealth outside of the country, you know, and money in a different currency.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
think, man. It shouldn't just be a bazaar. We are past that.
Anyone at home who is young, in their 20s, even possibly much older, feeling like, you know what, it won't happen for me. It's not possible. And I need to be XYZ, or I need to have A, B, C, and D to reach the likes of, for example, Nombasa, Noluthando. Anything you'd like to say to them?
You know what? For me, I've always believed that nothing is undoable. If somebody else can do it, why can't you? You know? But what most people don't realize is that to achieve the things that you want to achieve, work must be put in. And if you're not willing to put in the work, then don't be a dreamer. But if you are a dreamer, know that being a dreamer comes with a lot of hard work. Put in the work, strategize, think, be active. I mean, I always say, by the way, I'll have to mention this, in all the inboxes that I receive from young people, most of them will ask you things like, how do I become a realtor? Where do I start? I don't like young people that don't like to read. Read. The internet has a lot of information. How did I start in Dubai? Do you think somebody came and spoon-fed me? No. I went online, I read, I followed the paths, I knew what I needed to do. So when young people come to me, I don't like young people that come to me and expect me to start from A for them. I say to them, okay, how do you become a realtor? What do you know about being a realtor? What have you read? What have you researched? And there's AI now. There's, you know, ChatGPT. There's everything. Yes. There's no excuse. Read. Everything is there. So when you come to me, as I said, I'm very responsive. I love helping, but I don't like lazy young kids. As a youngster, read. Make sure you read. Like, information is there. Come to me to say, I've read ABC and I've found ABC, whatever. And so I'm wondering, from what I've read, what would you think would be? Don't come to me to say, so how do I make it? How do you make it? How will I know? How will you make it? I don't know your situation. I don't know where you are. What do you know? Where do I start telling you that? So don't be a lazy young child. Read. I love it. Don't be a lazy young child. Something like a true, responsible woman, you know? Don't be lazy. And it's been, like I said, absolutely amazing. Thank you so much, Nombasa. Thank you. Thank you for your knowledge. Thank you for sharing the knowledge. Thank you for sharing the opportunities. Guys, please do follow her. Please contact her. Let's build our wealth. Let's build ourselves. I always say the world will forever be changing. But if there's one thing that can help protect you outside of God, is actually having your own wealth. Because when things change in the world, your wealth will ensure that there are certain conveniences that you are able to afford to just protect you from certain things. It's been real with Nombasa Mawela, and this is Beaumovation, where beauty meets motivation. Please tell your mom, tell your sister,